All right, Allie, tell me what book you're reading today.
The Stilton and the Ghost of the Shipwreck.
Okay, so the Geronimo Stilton book. Have you read some other ones before? Some other Geronimo Stilton books before? You have, so you're familiar with this character then, huh? All right, how far are you in this book?
Well, I only went to this one.
You're right there?
A Strange Code.
What's happened so far since I haven't read this one? Tell me a little bit about what's happened.
Well, I don't really remember.
You don't remember? Well, what's going to happen when you pick up right here and you start reading if you don't remember what happened in the other pages?
There's going to be another clue to the other chapters.
Okay, but are you going to be able to remember then what happened already if you just keep reading?
I don't think so.
So what would you do about that then? What do you think would be a good idea to do if you don't really remember what you've read so far?
I would go back and read it.
You want to try some of that right now? All right, do you want to go back to the very beginning or what do you want to do? You do? Okay, let's do that.
These are just the people that are part of the book. These are the Stilton's
Okay.
sisters. It says, "Surprise, city by noontime."
Can you read it okay if you go like this? Okay, you're good.
This year, summer came early to New Mouse City by noontime. The sun was so hot the streets started baking. But at sunrise, when the delicious little breeze blew in from the east, it was wonderful to scamper through the park. That was my favorite time of day. Before I went to work at the Rodents Gazette. You know about the Rodents Gazette, right? It's the famous newspaper run by my brother, Geronimo Stilton. One day, I had just returned from my morning jog when my intercom buzzed. "Hello, who is it?" I asked, peeking at the teeny screen. "Surprise!" 5 smiling snouts squeaked in unison.
Yeah, what do you think that means? It means on his intercom, which he can see in his room, obviously, there were 5 little snouts looking at him and saying in unison, "Surprise!" What do you think that means if they were squeaking it in unison? They said it at the same time. It means they said it all at once.
Like Jinx?
No, they all said surprise. Have you ever been to a surprise birthday party or anything where everybody yelled surprise at the same time? Or maybe you've seen that on TV. That's what they did. They all said it at the same time
It's
instead.
like a birthday?
Might be. We'll see.
Okay. "Holy cheese!" I shrieked in delight. "Come on up, mouselings." I threw open the door and scurried out to meet my dear friends, the Thea sisters. They were 5 young mouselings I had met while teaching a course in adventure. Jerusalem at my alma mater, Mouseford Academy on Whale Island. I couldn't wait to put my paws around my 5 friends, Colette, Nikki, Palma, Paulina, and Violet.
Do you think they're her real sisters? Since you said Thea sisters, what do you think that means? But here's what I'm wondering, Holly. She said they were 5 young mouselings I had met while teaching a course. So do you think they're her real sisters? What gave it away?
Met.
Yeah, she met them. Very good. So it says that she met them at this academy. So she calls them her sisters, maybe like sorority sisters, if you're familiar with that at all, like at a college. So they're like sisters. Okay, keep going. You were right here.
It should be cousins.
Could be. Maybe it could be cousins.
I hugged them all at once. What joy to see them all again. Why aren't you at Mouse Fort Academy? What brings you to New Mouse City? A new adventure, Pam announced mysteriously. And we got a free ferry ride from Vince Sky Mouse, added Paulina, enjoying my look at astonishment.
Astonishment, yeah, good.
Violet came to my rescue. Don't confuse her. Mouselings tell her everything while I go make us some tea. We all sat down, and as the Thea sisters took turns squeaking, I quickly realized that I had found a new exciting adventure to write about. It all started on Whale Island immediately after Mouse Fort Academy's spring break.
Okay, so why are they there? Why are the sisters there?
Because they wanted to do an exciting adventure.
Yeah, and I love what happened here. They want a new adventure, and she announced it mysteriously. That makes me wonder as I keep reading. All right, keep going. I like how this is kind of talking to you as the reader.
The smell of sweet cheese. Spring break had just ended, and students were returning to Mouse Fort Academy. The campus paths were dotted with brightly colored T-shirts and backpacks as the students scurried around greeting one another eagerly. Professor Octavius
Okay.
D. Mouses, the headmaster, stood at the academy main entrance.
So you can see that person right here, sort of like the principal.
Yeah. He noticed some mouselings gathering in a corner of the campus garden. What was going on down there? Just then, Colette scampered up to him, a big smile on her snout. Hi, Professor. Would you like to join us in the garden? We're having a little snack for special Australian cheeses. We've just returned from visiting Nikki at her family sheep ranch. Professor D. Mouses followed Colette into the garden, where there was a table covered in food. The students and teachers were mingling, chatting, and snacking. These cheddar crackers are delicious. Did you try the feta Nikki's grandmother made? It's amazing. Colette, Nikki, Palma, and Paulina were busy telling all their friends about their recent adventures in Australia. The only one who was off by herself was Violet, and she was chewing on a cheese stick and checking her watch. Finally, she whispered to Paulina, I'm going to save some seats in the auditorium. But why? Asked Paulina. Professor Ian Van Kraken's lecture doesn't start until 11. Violet blushed and hurried away.
Okay, start right there. So I'm thinking ahead. Wonder why she blushed. Do you know what that means? She blushed. She kind of got embarrassed for just a minute. She blushed and she hurried away. I wonder what's going on. Wonder why she wants to go get these seats so early. I have a question though. Because there are a lot of activities taking place, are you picturing any of this in your mind as you read? Are you making any pictures in your head?
But I did make a picture of
You did? It's amazing. So you're involved, I can tell by the way your voice sounds whenever you read it. But like when she says these cheddar crackers are delicious, so you can kind of picture them standing there eating some crackers, some cheese crackers.
Whenever they talk about food, I usually picture it in my head.
Do you?
Because I want that
Something
food.
with food. All right, and then even right here when it said she was chewing on a cheese stick and checking her watch, picture that in your head. Did you sort of picture it in your head? All right, do you do that when you read? Do you make pictures in your mind when you read the words?
Sometimes.
Okay, maybe try to do that, Holly, so that when you remember how when we started this, when you started to read where you were, and I said, tell me about what you've read so far, you're like, I don't remember. If you're making pictures in your head, it'll help you when you get to the next part when you're going to pick up the next day to read, okay? And so it may be okay to like read a little bit, stop and think. Maybe stop and draw those pictures in your head just a little bit, okay? And then you can go on and read a little bit more. And then that way you just kind of keep adding to the pictures in your head, and it's those pictures that will help tell the story when you pick up the next day. How's that sound? Sound like something you can do? So what is it I want you to work on when you're reading?
You want me to stop and picture these words in your head?
Yeah, stop and think and try to make pictures in your head when you're reading, and then keep reading from there so you can just keep adding up the events that happen in the story, okay? So we haven't even gotten through the book yet, so I'm curious to know what the adventure is, and I also wonder why she's blushing. But we're going to stop right there for today. You sound really good when you read. I love the work that you do. You don't let names of people or places bother you. You look at it, you say it as close as it is in the book, and you keep going. And that is a wonderful thing for you to do as a reader. That's a great thing that you keep going. So I want you working on making pictures, stopping and thinking, and then keep going so that you can keep adding the events as they go and keep up with them. How does that sound? Got it? Lovely.